appreciate it. And you're trying not to be rude. You're like, oh yeah. Oh, and you do a fake drink. Oh, thank you so much. Right? But that's not Jesus. That's not Jesus right here. Jesus put all that aside. He didn't care how dirty she was supposed to be. We already know he knew her history. He knew that something ain't jiving with her and her relationships. But he still tells her, give me a drink. And she goes on to tell him, you don't even have a cup. You don't have nothing to draw this water. This is a deep well. So what's he saying? No, I know that. You don't think I know I ain't got no pitcher? No, I want to drink out of your jar. You give me some of what you got. He put that aside and didn't worry about whether she's dirty or clean. We sometimes can't get over it. So that was the other thing, one of the other things that he did. He even asked somebody who's a lesser person to share their dirty water container to get a drink from. He didn't keep that as a barrier. But I think Jesus knew, he's opening the door to a witnessing opportunity. So we talked about the things that Jesus did that were just so unconventional for that time. You don't talk to women during the day out in public, or at night in public. Not even your own wife. Rabbi don't teach women. Just don't. And now you're a Jew talking to a Samaritan. And then you ask her to give you a drink out of her dirty cup. 4 things that he did that he did not let the rules and the laws and the understanding or whatever is in place for his time. He did not let that come into play when he saw this lady at a well. Now let's talk about this lady for a second. We know one thing. We know that she was by herself, and we know that she came at noon, the 6th hour. And to most people, that's not a big deal, but we know during the 6th hour, that's the heat of the day, it's hot. So my question is why does this lady come to a well at noontime by herself? Because in that day, the culture would have been that the women all come together. And they all come to share the load for each other. And they come in the early morning hours when it's still cool, or in the late evening hours when the sun's gone down. But this lady is by herself and comes in the middle of the day. And you think, well, that's not a big deal, but I think it is. Why do we go places sometimes, and I find myself doing this, and I don't know why, but I think it's because of just where we're at. If I go into H-E-B or Walmart, I look around. Part of it is because I'm a cop. And just the other day, Michelle and I went to dinner. And this big old tatted up, prison tattooed dude comes up to me and he says, hey man, weren't you with the constables? And I said, oh. First I did like that. Yes, but now I'm a cop in Hutto. So I wanted to make sure that he knew, hey, if you assault me, you are assaulting a peace officer, which is a little bit more than assaulting the average bear. So don't put your hands on me, guy. I'll beat you down right here in Mr. Geddes, you already know. Okay, so anyway, I do. This morning, some of you, that's when I said I went to the car and I saw Miss Opal, I went to go put my gun in the car. I'm walking around here with my gun on the side. It's just what I do. Part of my career I've chosen. Anyway, so I look around. But most of the time, when you're dealing with something like this, there's a reason that you're by yourself. And my thought and my process, and I could be wrong, but what I believe is this. This lady who came by herself at the noon hour to get water only did that for one huge reason. And that reason is she's not accepted by the other women in her village or in Samaria. That she has got a hoish reputation, and that she has been around the block at least 6 times. And we don't understand what happened to her previous marriages and why she's got so many, but the bottom line is she ain't accepted by everybody else. And she probably doesn't want to see everybody else. And she probably knows that she's looked down upon, and that she's talked about, and that she is just not accepted. And that the only people who do talk to her are men, trying to find companionship, I guess. Quick companionship. My bad. And so I think about that for a minute. And we all know that Jesus knew who she was and what she was about. But he still did not let that stop him from opening that door and saying, "Give me a drink." Knowing that this whole debate, this whole conversation, this whole transaction between those two would take place. So many times I think that we, as believers, put this image on what we think a believer must look like. And what we think that somebody must be in order for us to carry on a conversation with them about the Lord. Either one, we're afraid that they will accept him and now we've got to hang out with them so we don't open our mouths. Because what's everybody going to think when this tatted out, pierced all over the face dude comes to church with me? Will my co-believers accept him or will they not? Will they love him or will they not? And so, like I told you guys a while back, my heart here real lately, and I think it's always been, is for the lost. And we get away from, I put a thing on Facebook the other day, make sure you bring a friend. And somebody went back on there and said, "Man, I haven't heard bring a friend to church since middle school."
She said, "You make me feel guilty."
Well, how many? When's the last time that we had an encounter with an individual and the opportunity was there to open our mouth and to witness to someone and we didn't? Because of why? Jesus had 4 huge obstacles in front of him that he could have really got some bad grief, some bad news, some bad publicity over. And he didn't let him stop. He didn't let those things stop him. But we can stand in the Walmart line and check out and have 5 minutes of somebody going bop, 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 bop. Need a price check on too? And we won't say nothing. We won't say nothing. Does that cashier not need the Lord? When we were setting up this couple Saturdays, we went to Radio Shack looking for this extension cord. And I was talking to the lady, and the Lord, I could hear him plain as day. Preach what you teach, or whatever. Do what you do. If this is what you feel, that here's this lady. She's got you've got her attention. Go. And I, just out of nowhere, was like, "Hey, Do you have a church here in Taylor?